Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the G3 Podcast. Welcome mga kaibigan. We're back again and continuing the tradition of Spook Month this November. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff as well as the things that happened recently in the entire geekdom and nerdpire. That baduy nerdpire pangit. That happened in the past week. And of course, this is your host, BJG. We're going to be talking about everything geeky and nerdy in between. Joining me, as always, are these awesome guys, starting off with everybody's favorite captain, Captain Mike. Welcome to the show. Hello.
What is happening, boys and girls? This is your captain speaking, and welcome again to another episode of the G3 Podcast.
Yeah, Paskong Pasko. Paskong Pasko tayo, Kap. Masaya.
Speaking of parang may lyrics. Isip ko parang meron siyang script dyan sa gilid niya.
May teleprompter yan sa likod ng studio.
Alam nga naman sabihin kung what's happening, boys and girls, this is your captain speaking. And para namang
Yes. Yes.
Kailangan.
Giving us pointers. Thank you. And of course,
right.
Everybody's favorite man with the mustache, Noch, is in the house. Free, live from his office right now. Kamusta, pare? Ganda.
Okay lang, bro.
Ganda
okay
ng...
lang. Di ko nga din alam kung bakit ito yung virtual background. Tanggalin na natin yan. Tanggalin natin yung virtual background. Let's go do this!
Yan! Magkakasama yan. Bagay na bagay yan. Very violent. I like the violence of your eyebrows. Tom Selleck na Tom Selleck ang dating.
Aray, di ba? Pinayos ko yan eh. Sa Low Bro Studios. Grabe.
Kamusta kayo mga pre? Anong mga bali-balita sa inyo? Congratulations. I mean, we really had fun in the last episode where we had people talking about their scary stories. A lot of people loved it. What kept you guys busy in between that and now? Let's start off with Captain Mike.
I was doing classes on weekends, tapos kasunod yung Mobile Legends tournament ko. We will have another finals na namin tomorrow for my advance After Effects class. That's gonna be tomorrow.
Wow,
and then
advance.
magfo-focus na rin ako with Mobile Legends tournaments, and then more programs coming in the way, and some of them will involve G. So if I were you all, I'll go watch it out.
Oh, dami mong plugging.
Hindi naman pwede mag-plug dito ah.
Pinlag naman niya yung G. Yung G naman yung plugging. Ikaw parang Nosh, you're very concerned about, hindi ka pala concerned about health and safety. You are being one with the ninjas pala. Kamusta pare? Ano meron?
Oh. Kami kasi yung the three ninjas eh.
Naalala niyo?
Ako si Tommy.
Sino si Cold?
Si
Cold. Oh. Kasi yung bata. Sino yung bata?
Si Tam.
Tommy called it Tam.
It was a busy week for me work-wise. Grabe lang talaga. It really drained me mentally sometimes. Pero it is what it is. You just have to grind it out. At it's always it's whenever we do this itong podcast na to, it always distresses me. Kaya salamat.
I love it. All right. Kabila, Noch, kabila. Kabila. Yan, naghirap po kami. Oy, ayun. Well, anyway, and also, one of the things that I would like to add to that is, yes, it's our time to geek out a little bit. We've been adulting for quite an entire week. How is Pillow Talk, by the way? I mean, you got a show coming up on Pillow Talk? Or?
Oh yeah, Pillow Talk. We have another episode coming up this Monday, 8:30, and we have a guest which is very, very hotty. Kaya abang-abangan yan. May mga pag-uusapan kaming, for the boys, pero with a woman perspective.
Yeah.
Woman's perspective, yeah.
Maganda. For the boys, tas may babae.
Ayan.
Alam,
8:30 mga kaibigan. 8:30 The Pillow Talk.
alam na
Bam.
this. This is every Monday, right? This is an every
Every
Monday show.
Monday. Yep,
Live
yep.
on Facebook. Nice, nice, nice. All right, so let's get this thing rolling and get started with the things that happened in the entire geekdom and the nerd communities out there in the Philippines. Starting off with, of course, Rated G News. First in our list of news for today. This happened in the week of ano bang week to? Week of the second week of November. And that is number one, a really an interesting piece of news from comicbook.com. It's X-Men animated series rumored to be in the works for Disney Plus.
Tanan.
And just
Tanan.
wala
Tanan.
wala pong hindi nakakaalala dyan. In a news article by comicbook.com says Marvel Studios is reported to be developing an X-Men animated series which will begin production in 2023 and air on Disney Plus. The news comes just before tomorrow's Disney Plus Day presentation, where fans are expecting to hear some big announcements. So while the report is light on the details, there is always the possibility that tomorrow, as of November 11th, more will come officially from Disney. Once Marvel's biggest publishing brand, the X-Men starred in a dozen movies produced by 20th Century Fox between 2000s and 2019. Other than Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who appeared in both the X-Men films and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, no mutant has ever carried over to the MCU yet, since Fox was acquired by Disney and most of the Marvel characters were brought home. Eto na yung pare. They're all coming home, man.
Brought home.
And that's the key. For more information about that, we're very excited. We're going to be talking about this in a little bit, but just head on over to comicbook.com/marvel/news/X-Men animated series rumored to be in the works for Disney Plus. Too bad we don't have a lot of information there apart from the announcement, but boy, oh boy, are we in for some mutant mayhem coming in 2023. Up next in the newsreel, Netflix. lagi ako nahuhuli dun sa 10. Walang mintis eh. Sabog yung ano eh. Derailed ako eh. Netflix's One Piece live action cast revealed Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Sanji, and Usopp. We're gonna meet the Straw Hats. In a report in IGN by Matt Kim, Netflix has revealed the cast for its upcoming One Piece live action adaptation, introducing the core members of the Straw Hat Pirates. In the series, Netflix revealed the actors who will be playing Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji. These are the first members who will become known as the Straw Hat Pirates. I don't think I have to itemize the names there, but we have that all over the news right now as to who these people are. But the cast includes Iñaki Godoy as Monkey D. Luffy, Maken Yu as Roanoa Zoro, Emily Rudd as Nami, Jacob Romero Gibson as Usopp, and Taz Skylar as Sanji. For more information about this news, head on over to IGNSoutheastAsia.com and look for the One Piece live action article, and you'll read more about there. There's also a tweet on Netflix. Just check them out on Twitter. You'll see it right there. And obviously, magandang mga palabas yan. X-Men. Now we have Netflix live action. I hope they do it well. Good luck to that. And lastly, in this week's news, Fallout TV. Meron akong kilala talagang in love sa Fallout. Apart from One Piece, this guy loves it. Fallout TV show still moving ahead according to Todd Howard. But the question is, but nobody seems to know when it will air. I like this article from GamesRadar.com. It says Amazon's Fallout TV series is moving ahead according to a brief update from Bethesda boss Todd Howard. A fan asked Howard if, after more than a year without any meaningful updates, the Fallout TV show is still in the works at all. Howard confirmed on Reddit that it's still a work in progress and that he's really excited to be working with Jonah, Lisa, and Amazon on it, referring to the showrunners Lisa Joy and Jonah Nolan. Howard didn't share any more details, but it's encouraging to know that Amazon's Fallout series hasn't fallen by the wayside. It was first revealed back in 2020 July with a brief teaser, which quickly ranked up a few million views. For more information about this awesome, albeit a little vague reintroduction to Fallout TV, head on over to gamesradar.com/Fallout TV show. Still moving ahead. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are the three top news for the second week of November. We're going to be talking about it really briefly, starting with the X-Men animated series. One guy I know who loves comic books right here is Chino. Chino, what do you think about this, man? Chino was the one who sourced this news. So what did you first think when you first found it?
Actually, I was actually surprised because I never thought I would be excited for an X-Men animated series ever again. After the crap they pulled with Wolverine and the X-Men. Come on, man. Sobrang ibang-iba siya eh. Let me tell you. Sobrang ibang-iba siya from the 90s series. It was, and I'm not saying this. This is based on my personal opinion. The Wolverine and the X-Men series was basically a kids show. It was a kids show, and before, if you remember the X-Men animated series of the 90s, it was never, it was part of Saturday Kids and the Saturday morning cartoons, but it was never referred to as a kids show.
Yeah.
It was a teenagers show. Alam mo yun, it was someone who is so into superheroes. No, alam mo yun, parang kids love superheroes like Superman. You know, the they like Batman. They like Captain America.
Right.
But when you were a kid, 'di ba? Di mo siya masyadong kilala yung X-Men eh. You might know Wolverine, 'di ba? Or Cyclops or 'di ba? Or pero kilala ba nila si Nightcrawler? Did they know like
Jean Grey.
Gambit, Jean Grey, 'di ba? Kilala ba nila si I keep forgetting his name. Beast is one, of course. Nightcrawler, Rogue, Morph. Diba? Di nila kilala to eh. Di nila kilala to eh. And these were X-Men. Diba?
Right.
Kaya, well, I'm hoping that they can pull this off. They have like how many years since they still have 3 years of development. Hopefully, they put in some great stories kasi the X-Men comics right now, they're really bussin', you know? Sobrang iba yung X-Men comics ngayon.
That's a very millennial term I'd like to add.
Bussin', right?
They're bussin', yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm trying it out. I'm 24.
Oh, shit. Excuse me. Sino?
Ayun nga. Sobrang lupit nga kasi. And I haven't really read them all, pero I'm totally excited to do that. So, high hopes for this one.
I echo the sentiments. Ikaw, Captain Mike, I understand that you were able to watch the TV show back in the 90s. Now that they're saying that, kasi ito the funny thing I'd like to reiterate here is rumored to be an X-Men animated series rumored to be in the works. They didn't make this announcement when they produced Wolverine and the X-Men. They didn't do this for X-Men. There's another show.
Wolverine and the X-Men was a Warner Brothers cartoon, right?
I think so. And then there's another one. There's another one.
No, I think it was Fox Kids.
Yeah, it's a Fox Kids kind of cartoon. And they never made any announcement. But ito parang binibill nila. They're kind of relating it towards the original 90s animated series. So what are your thoughts on this, Captain?
The expectation is high. Yeah. Especially dun sa mga nakaranas o nakapanood nung 90s na X-Men kasi alam mo yon, it was ilang seasons din yun eh. Dami ring stories, alam mo yon.
Like 5 seasons.
Ito yung mga inaabangan ng Pinoy kada Friday when they go home, they'll do all their stuff and parang X-Men for me is the animated series is paano na magsa-start yung papunta ng weekend. Alam mo na pa weekend na pag nakita mo na yung series na yun eh. So the fact that they announce it tells me na there is that expectation eh. And that expectation should cater to the folks who watched it in the 90s na obviously tataas na expectations yan, Chino included. Tapos yung mga nakabasa rin ng comics after that series eh. So what are they going to expect? Will it be like how many episodes ba per season? Will it be continuous ba? I mean, kasi ang maganda sa animated series. Oo, kasi maganda sa animated series. Basta may manpower ka to generate the possibilities are endless eh. Pero I hope, number one, hindi siya magiging 6-part animated series just like how they did in the doon sa mga live series sila like Loki and sana hindi 6 episodes lang, sana hindi 10 episodes lang.
No, this is an animated series, so I'm sure it's going to be it's a series, cartoons eh. Mas yung cartoons eh.
At saka number 2, ang ina-expect ko sana by then magkaroon na tayo ng access to Disney Plus pag na siya sa Pilipinas. Kasi it's going to be a good thing pag nagkaroon tayo ng accessibility nun dito.
Right.
Otherwise, we will have to go leaps and bounds to have access to that animated series.
Right.
Yun lang na sa akin.
Actually, the X-Men tried to stay alive. The X-Men animated universe tried to stay alive until 2011, even creating 2 animes out of it. If you guys even noticed that there were 2 Japanese anime X-Men that ran in 2011 2011. It didn't last long, right? So I hope this time that the X-Men gets good footing on the ground like they did back in the 90s, because the 90s was a fluke. The first episode was rolled out, they didn't think it would last, but it did. It lasted for 5 seasons. So sana I really look forward to it. And especially, we were talking about if they incorporate the stories of today, Krakoa, X of Swords, the current timelines that are happening right now. It's awesome.
X-Men versus Avengers.
Yeah. Well, that's
the Phoenix Force.
Suntok susubukan. It's a long shot, but
I'm actually just expecting for Phoenix Force. Even if kung wala man yung Avengers doon, I wouldn't care. Just seeing the Phoenix Force in action.
But
in an animated series.
Come to think of it, Disney Plus, right? MCU. X-Men.
Exactly. Yeah.
AVX.
But for me, it's this, kasi the thing with Disney Plus, they're trying to gain tractions with other videos on demand platforms in other countries, diba? Putting X-Men, the animated series, tapos i-launch sila in other countries, alam mo yon, will put them in that particular spot na yung mga taong gustong panoorin yung papanoorin na nila. And I'm gonna tell you, if it pushes through, magiging may foothold na rin ng Disney.
Correct.
Na against the other video on demand platforms.
I just hope that they do a really good job here, because up next in our discussion line, something that I'm personally a little bit iffy about, and this personally for me is iffy because a lot after the success of Rurouni Kenshin, a lot of studios have tried, and right now the most successful one that I could say that is positively being reviewed is Cowboy Bebop. Now Netflix is going to produce a live action One Piece movie. And they now have a cast.
Is it a movie? It's a series.
Sorry. It's a TV show. So, similar to Cowboy Bebop, right? Medyo positive ang people are seeing this positively. As a fan of the ongoing anime and manga, Chino, what do you think? How do you think this is gonna fare on Netflix with live action?
Actually, you just have to check Cowboy Bebop first. you just have to check Cowboy Bebop first. Because basically, ito yung unang-unang live action ni Netflix touching anime, right? If do you remember any other live action? No, sorry. They did Death Note. Diba? It was crappity crap. What else did they do? They did Bleach. And it was crappity crap as well. So live action medyo tricky kasi yan eh. It's kind of tricky eh. Pero lalo na ito, a series. They're trying to do a series on one of the most popular anime/manga out there. And definitely, if they don't do this right, sobrang mawawalan na sila ng tiwala sa mawawalan yung tao ng tiwala sa kanila. Definitely for live action na kasi no one dares to touch anime. Sila lang.
Sila lang, you know? Sila lang talaga after the scourge of Dragon Ball Evolution. They're the ones.
Ano yan?
Oh no, I mentioned a bad word. Dragon Ball Evolution.
No, I cannot.
No, sabi ni Leia, no, I cannot. Pero I mean, sige, the Rurouni Kenshin movie,
which is a Warner Brothers production, by the way.
Para sa akin, that was good.
That good.
Was hella good. That was good. Pero you know, Netflix doesn't have a great track record in terms of live action. You know, wala pa. So this is tricky. This is a tricky one with One Piece. Pero you know, kung ma-pull off nila yung Cowboy Bebop, if they pull it off, di ba? Di natin alam eh, di natin masabi.
Right.
It's like casting Robert Pattinson for Batman. Di natin sigurado eh, pero okay, sige, let's try it out. Di ba? Wala tayong magawa eh. Nandiyan eh.
Right. Nandiyan eh. Hindi naman tayo nag-decide din.
Exactly. So, yun. So I'm wishing na they do justice. Kasi hindi lang naman ako yung fan. I'm not the biggest fan, but I am a fan. I was actually reading the manga just last night, just catching up on it. Medyo malayo pa ako. Pero if they don't do justice to this, might as well not touch any other anime after this. Kasi sayang eh.
Oh, diba? and One Piece pa to. One Piece
pa to. Don't even try to touch Naruto or Dragon Ball or siguro yung Ghost Fighter pwede. Yu Yu Hakusho possibly.
Maaari.
Pero maaari.
Kaso, well, Captain Mike, you're a Netflix denizen. You've seen a lot of adaptations from
Netflix.
Of course. From Korean novels to adapted into movies and TV shows. Ikaw, what's your take on the One Piece adaptation?
The One Piece adaptation, ano na ako dito? I'm like 50% to 0%. Being excited.
Have you watched any episode of the anime or read the manga?
Oo naman, nakapanood naman ako. Channel 7 pa nun, wala pang access sa Netflix nun, di ba? I mean, ano pa siya eh. The thing is, itong One Piece na gagawin nilang series is gonna be in English.
In what? In English, yeah.
That's my problem. Not discriminating yung mga cast, yung mga mukha nila, di ba? Pero kasi, if you think about Bleach, ginawa nila yung movie na yun in Japanese with Japanese characters, obviously with the Japanese language, diba? So, kung makakakuha sila ng mga cast doon, close sa ginawa nila sa anime series. And pag tinignan mo naman yung comparison nun, kahit paano, sige, kahit hindi siya napa-impress doon sa mga diehards ng Bleach.
Actually, isa pa yun, no? They're trying to do an English one of the One Piece.
the fact na ginawa nila yon, case on point, Dragon Ball Evolution, the fact na
Huh?
ginawa nilang English ang isang,
Ano yan?
sorry.
Gagalit na naman.
Man.
Hindi, pero
Gagalit ka na. Sorry na.
the fact na gumawa sila ng isang English cast for from a Japanese anime worries me. Now, if ginawa nilang Japanese cast with the Japanese effects, with the Japanese setting, baka ma-impress pa ako kahit papano.
Oh, wait. There's one thing that we left out though.
Oh,
Eiichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, is actually hands-on in this project. Especially the casting.
Okay.
So, you know, ang iisipin mo dyan is, will he risk his legacy?
I don't think so.
Diba?
I mean, he's that confident that it's already there. And don't get us wrong, guys. There are some other adaptations that have become popular back in the day. The very first one that I remember is Guyver. If you guys remember Guyver, yung para siyang Mask Rider Black na pumapatay ng mga predators. You also have Jojo Inuyashiki, yung mga ganon. Pero Netflix, sabi nga ni Chino, kasi Netflix doesn't have a good track record with producing these things. So far. Pero if Cowboy Bebop nails it, plus you have the actual creator pa. So, malay mo, maybe.
Yung trailer yung intro nung Cowboy Bebop is on Netflix eh. So pag pinapanood ko naman, di ba? Na-impress ako kasi parang na-mimic nila yung from the anime to live action eh.
Pero don't ever trust trailers though.
No,
exactly.
Don't ever trust trailers because
even in video games, that's applicable.
Tandaan nyo! The trailer for Mortal Kombat. Tandaan nyo yun. Tandaan nyo that the trailer itself was so lit na talagang
people were so hyped
talaga natin. And they even had like a 5-minute teaser
opening teaser
of the movie showing the first 5 minutes of the movie itself. While that was good, it was Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Then comes Cole Young, sucks. Diba?
That became a tier list category on its own. So, guys, Netflix, good luck to you guys. Do well. And I hope it doesn't turn out into another Mortal Kombat / Speed Racer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just ko po, Mario Josep.
But there's one more thing that we're not really sure of, and that's Fallout TV. The Fallout, ito si Chino, he's a huge Fallout fan. I know my brother's a huge Fallout fan. And then Todd Howard, as relatable as this person is, sarcasm, mentioned that it's still in the works, but there's no date yet. I don't know why they made an announcement about it, and what do you think about it? Let's start off with Chino again, the Fallout fan here. What can you say about this?
Well, ako talaga ang
statement.
taas na expectations ko for this. I mean, and I don't want, I sa lahat ng ayoko, isa yun sa yung mag-expect ako ng mataas. Mag-expect talaga ako ng sobra. Like sa Mortal Kombat, motherfucker. Diba? Yun yung pinaka-ayoko eh. Kaya, eto, when I first saw this, sabi ko, putang ina, seryoso ba sila? Kasi, while I loved all of the Fallout games, puwera sa tactics, because I've never been a tactics fan. Or Brotherhood. Ano yun? Fallout
Brotherhood
something
Steel.
Brotherhood of Steel, yeah, there you go. Pero all the mainstream ones, I loved it. Fallout 1, played it, finished it 3 times. Same with Fallout 2. Then followed with Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4, and I'm still... Sobrang tagal na ng Fallout 4. binili ko pa rin siya sa Steam.
I have it.
And I've actually bought a Fallout 4 collector's edition with the map. With the map,
Damn.
with the like yung posters ng mga ano, and a strategy guide with it.
Nice, man.
Kaya
At
so mataas yung
least-
expectation ko. Yun nga lang kasi there is no story to follow. Kasi iba-ibang story yan eh, 'di ba?
True.
So you can't expect like the Fallout TV to follow the first one. Well, the first one would be great, pero alam mo 'yan, wala kang masusundan eh. So for me, it's going to be an original storyline.
Right.
Which is hard to do on its own kasi wala kang reference for it. I mean, sige, post-apocalyptic stuff, you're referencing the past Fallout 4. Pero the story itself, wala eh. So you're going to make something original. Diba? And it's always scary when something that you love is put to that spotlight. It's put on a spotlight. Diba? Kaya I'm really expecting so much from this. Kaya yun, nako, Amazon, sabi ko sa'yo.
Baka naman.
Baka naman, pwede ba?
Captain Mike, ikaw, I'm not sure if you are if you have played some of the older of course I went with the older one, no? Fallout, but having an announcement by Todd
Yung Wasteland,
Howard,
yung Wasteland yung napanood yung laro niya, Wasteland
yung
1.
baka o kaya Fallout Shelter. Wala. Anong masasabi mo rito? Kasi sa Reddit lang niya kinonfirm eh. He confirmed this only on Reddit. It's not even an official thing. The fans made it a huge thing when he mentioned it on Reddit. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, number 1, take it with a grain of salt kasi wala pa tayong nakikitang visuals. I mean, people can announce whatever they want to announce, especially in the pandemic. People will be hyped. Pero hanggat hindi natin nakikita yung final product, we cannot assume anything. Number 1. Side note, at least alam na natin dalawa ngayon, BJ, na we have to earn money to buy a Pip-Boy for Chino.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Mas press.
Yeah,
Sobrang ginawa niya yun. Pag ginawa
Pip-Boy.
niya yun, sobrang matutuwa ako. Literal, man.
For those who don't know, Pip-Boy is this attachment na nilalagay dun sa arm ng mga nandun sa mga characters ng Fallout. Where
Alam niyo ba? Muntik na ako bumili ng, remember the Pip-Boy cellphone cases from before?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember them. Tapos meron pang parang Pip-Boy themed na ano. I was about to buy that.
Oh shit, really?
That may have cost you an arm and a leg.
You know, that's a good idea, Cap. That's a good idea you gave, Cap. Sige, pag-isipan natin yun in the future. Pag-isipan natin yun. Pip-Boy 2000.
Oh. Number 2.
Number 2. Ready na ako doon.
2, kasi yung Fallout series kasi I started with 2 by the way and then played 1 kasi doon ako nagkaroon ng access noon, and then Tactics.
You haven't played 4?
Yeah, I haven't. Pero I played Tactics in yung 1 and 2 kasi yun lang yung meron akong access noon so hindi ko pa nalalaro yung 4 kasi parang nung when they converted it to 4 at saka yung 3 pa nga lang eh, 'di ba, New Vegas, 'di ba, ginawa na lang first person, parang nawala yung essence nung turn-based combat para sa akin. Kaya nung una ko nakita siya, para so dahil understanding those stories, and to those who don't know, this is a post-apocalyptic war game. Sana they create a story from a different character, from a different vault dwellers kasi tawag dito sa mga they stayed in vaults, ganyan, tapos nakalaya na sila after the catastrophe. I hope they created a new story for a specific guy or girl, right, for that matter. Tapos sana ituloy nila, paano nila i-connect doon sa mga previous Fallout, yung mga
every season,
mga weapons.
Like every season you'll have...
I don't think they will. Kasi all of the Fallout, well, pwera sa Fallout 1 and 2 pero all of the Fallout games starting from Fallout 3 hanggang 4, they've never really connected each and every one. Well, they've never really connected each one.
No, what
They
what I
did it.
hope is, what I hope is, like what Cap is saying, this TV show will revisit every installation of the series, like
Yeah,
season
don't keep my
one.
hopes up. Don't keep my hopes up. Man.
Like Vault
Listen,
111 or
ay
yung
nako.
Vault
Yeah, kasi
30.
I don't titigilan ko na. Ititigil ko na yung sinasabi nyo. They will not do that. Alam mo bakit? Kasi each vault,
Why?
itong mga vault na to, they're in different regions.
Yeah,
Oo.
he's dousing his own fire. But I shit you not, when Chino sees a dog running from the center, and then the lead character looks at it, the dog says dog meat, mababaliw to.
Doon pa lang sa war. War never
Ah!
War
changes.
never changes.
Ay, nako ka. But
Puta,
we
pag
hope
narinig, pag narinig ko sa trailer yan, mababaliw ako. What the
Oo, 'di ba? Yun ang
Sana.
isipin mo yan na magiging intro kada
War.
start ng episode ano.
War never
Correct.
changes.
Correct.
Kasi in the
correct.
narration ng Fallout, bago mag-start yung game, the war never changes, tapos sasabihin nila yung story, 'di ba? Imagine mo per episode pag sinabing war never changes, tapos kung ano yung nangyari
That
doon
won't
sa
happen. That won't happen. That
It's-
will not happen. Alam
This
mo mangyayari
like-
dyan? Alam mo mangyayari
Ano?
dyan? Diba, kunyari sa sinehan ka na, kasi by next year, okay na tayo manood ng sine.
Right.
Tapos biglang black screen.
TV
Tapos
show
makikita
to.
mo, war. War never changes.
Oh God. Oh
Ang ina,
God.
mabiliw ako. Tapos biglang magkakaroon ng ilaw. Tapos makikita mo may naglalakad na aso.
Si
From the
Dogmeat.
horizon. From the horizon. Tapos titigil siya. Tapos titingin siya sa taas. Tapos biglang may kamay na gaganon sa kanya. Tapos maglalakad
Oo.
sila dun sa horizon.
Doon towards the horizon.
That's Fallout 3 all over again.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this,
Tapos
ladies and
ano,
gentlemen, this is the equivalent of killing your own erection, in the hopes that you'd never
They
gonna
won't
get
do
laid.
that.
You know,
Masyado
like-
na ano yun. I am positive they won't. I am positive they won't. Definitely,
Pero,
especially for Fallout New Vegas. Kasi hindi Bethesda yun. That's Obsidian.
Oo.
Correct,
Pero
correct.
isipin mo siguro my takeaway on this is it's now similar to the one on Disney Plus and X-Men. This is an Amazon original. They better do good. Otherwise, they'll be forced to jump into another VOD provider. Sasabihin nila, that's garbage, di ba?
You know what's tricky though? Kasi this, parang never pa ako nakarinig kay Amazon na they're going to do a series based on a video game. I mean,
That's right.
I think it's easier to do that. Well, I say that relatively, no? It's easier to think of a way to do that kesa yung you're going to base it off an anime. Alam mo yun?
Naging mo
It's easy.
action.
Oh.
Right.
Kung napanood nyo na yung there's this series called Gods, the New Gods ba yun? Or Good and Bad Omen. Ano yun? I keep forgetting these titles. Pero if you've ever watched an Amazon series, you'd know medyo magigets mo kung ano yung kakayahan nila They do good series. This one though is based on a video game. And they actually have, it's pretty much a sandbox in terms of storyline. Diba?
Right.
As long as it's post-apocalyptic, as long as there's dog meat, kasi dog meat is everywhere sa Fallout.
Everywhere. Don't
Diba?
forget Nuka-Cola, ha?
Nuka-Cola.
Of course,
yeah.
Nuka-Cola. Siyempre, Red Rocket, these names, as long as they're there, fans would definitely feel na parang, shit, this is the same Fallout that I've fallen in love with for so many years.
It's going, hopefully it doesn't fall into the Mortal Kombat category. I think that's
No, yeah,
it.
I hope.
Yun yun I mean, I think one major ingredient for something that's based off on an anime or something in pop culture is relatability.
true.
Kung let's say si One Piece, kung let's say si Cowboy Bebop, kung makarelate yung mga fans of old. Kasi matagal na to sila ka-review. Kung nakarelate sila and they saw how good it is, it's going to be a success eh. Diba?
Right,
It's really about relatability. So let's say for example, Fallout, kung yung fans ng Fallout, they find the series medyo close dun sa Fallout games. They're seeing these references from the Fallout games and all that. Magiging okay siya eh. Diba? Magiging okay siya eh.
Right.
So, siguro
Same goes for The Last of Us.
Right. Ako,
Diba?
HBO naman yun.
It goes for The Last of Us. Relatability yan eh. If you see the Fireflies and kung pinortray nila kung yung storya ng the Fireflies and storya nila Ellie, kung magawa nila maayos yun, the fans will relate to the series.
Mm-mm.
And I think that's the main ingredient, one of the main factors for making a successful series or movie.
So, siguro sa akin, Amazon, if you're watching, if your Fallout becomes successful, for the love of everything good, can you please put Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell into your belt? I'm just saying.
That's the thing, guys. So. That's the thing. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, there's so many things that are being brought up in the geek world that it's really, really getting our hopes up. And that's the takeaway for the entire news bit. All the things that we mentioned to you right now is really getting the fans' hopes up. You know, you have an upcoming One Piece thing, you'll have an upcoming X-Men thing, and you have an upcoming Fallout thing. And right now, fans can't do anything but wait. And let's hope that that these things will get done and get to good fruition in the future. So we hope them and wish them the best. Now the thing is, sometimes pag ganito kaganda yung ideas, pare, sometimes fans kinda tend to do their own thing. Fans tend to get involved. They tend to get their hands on the thing. Because sometimes, let's face it, the studios could not deliver. They will not deliver, and sometimes they just leave us in the dust. As we mentioned earlier, bad words in this show would include Dragon Ball Evolution, and Mortal Kombat. Skull Yang Sap. I'm sorry. So, back in the day, though, these movies, we're talking about these movies, these shows, that they have such a profound effect on the community that sometimes they get together and put stuff on their own just so that they can see their dreams into reality. Yung pagkaka-describe ni Noch nung the sunset and the dog and the hand, and it's just so vividly clear in his brain that he will not accept anything less than it. That's for sure. So let me get you up to speed. Historically, this thing happened already. And if you're familiar with the horror movies back in the day, there are some beloved characters. Beloved is relative, by the way. And we all wanted to see them together. So as we lead into the discussion of the continuation of Spook Month here in November, I'd like to present to you something that is born out of the creative minds of those people who wanted something, like what Chino and Captain Mike are for X-Men, One Piece, and Fallout, but are not getting what they want. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you something. Let's step in, listen to this story. It's a story about the show, a little game called Terrordrome, Rise of the Boogeyman, in Stay a While and Listen.
Stay a while and listen.
There's a little known game, not so well known game called Terrordrome that was released sometime in the early 2000s, and they put together a dream match for all horror aficionados out there. They put together Chuckie, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, Ash from the Evil Dead series, the Candyman, Pinhead, Pumpkinhead, Michael Myers from the Halloween series, freaking Ghostface and what's his name? Yung Phantasm, then Reanimator, all those awesome characters from the 80s and the 90s, horror classics, which is probably you're familiar with Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat 10 by now. Pero that wasn't the first time that these characters went on and had their own fighting game. There's a fighting game out there that's called Terror Drome. Have you guys seen this? This is insane. The first time, have you ever thought you'd finally see Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger way before the Freddy versus Jason movie coming out? And this is the result, ladies and gentlemen, of people not getting what they want. There should have been dream matches all over, pero none of the movie companies, like New Line Cinema in general, put together something that will ease the fans. So the nerds and the geeks of the gaming community put together a video game called Terrordrome, and it became such a cult hit in the annals of early internet. No, ang dami namin dinaload yan and nalaro namin. Given the glimpse of the game, have you guys seen this game? You've been shown what this game looks like. Captain Mike, you saw this first before Chino. So what can you say first when you first saw the game? Kasi ako pare nalupit na I played this in. So I want to get your perspective when you found out about it the first time.
For me, this is a better version of para siyang yung parang kabatch siya nung earlier Mortal Kombat games.
Mm.
'Di ba? The animation itself, imaginein mo yung galaw ng mga characters, 'di ba?
Very stiff.
Very stiff, pero alam mo yung for a fan-made game, maganda to eh. Kaya nga kanina earlier when we were talking about this one off stream, 'di ba? I was asking you na bakit walang gustong mag-consider ano ba yung term ko dun? Yung bakit hindi to gawing isa talagang legit na game.
Oo.
Meanwhile, Shaolin versus ano nga ba yun?
Utang.
I mean, 'di ba? Nagawa nilang game, 'di ba? Even Def Jam, Fight for New York, they even made it a thing.
Right.
Why can't they make this game something na imagine mo, i-release nila tong game na to sa Steam, make it online, then the entire population during the pandemic would enjoy this game. Di ba rin benta mo na to ng 200 pesos pero pag nilakihan mo yung malaki ang community kasi ng mga tao mahihilig sa horror films eh.
And fighting games.
And fighting games. And alam mo yun, makakita ka ng isang community who would so be flipped about this. So ako nga since you told me to download it, I already downloaded it. I'm just trying to figure out some stuff, no. Hopefully after everything happens this weekend, I will be playing this because this is very entertaining.
Right. Now, Chino, I know you're not a big fan of horror movies. But having to play a game made by fans that's a mishmash of every single fucking horror icon out there. What were your first thoughts when you saw this game?
Actually, naganda na ako sa kanya. I mean, Mortal Kombat started stiff naman eh. Diba?
Oo.
Started stiff as hell. If you remember Mortal Kombat 1,
it's
fucking stiff. Parang paglaro with, with wood characters, diba? Parang pagganda na pagagawa sa kanya. Ganda na pagagawa sa kanya. That's iba yung graphics that was done to it. This is the first time I've known about this. Pero if I'd have known it before pa, I probably played it.
Di ba? Ang saya eh.
Ganda eh.
I mean, and this is Dream Match written, it has Dream Match written all over it. I mean, of course, you'd like to see who's gonna be stronger, Mike Myers or Jason Voorhees. Di ba? Kasi parehong, I'm a huge Jason Voorhees fan. And then you get Chuckie, the murder doll, going up against A guy like Ash from the Evil Dead who has the Necronomicon and has the chainsaw hand. Sino mas magaling sa chainsaw? Siya ba o si Leatherface? You know, and it's crazy. You even have the fucking Pinhead, you know, the Cenobite from Hellraiser. Um, and they tried to recreate this on Steam. Pero ngayon yung version of Terrordrome sa Steam, it's really just open source IPs like the Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy. You know, classics, yes, but it doesn't have that badass oomph into it. You know, like it doesn't have the Pumpkinhead. You guys even remember who the Pumpkinhead was? It's just huge ballsack looking monster that you know na tinatawag siya ng witch to enact revenge on assholes, and he kills them with brutal elegance, you know, uh, and then you see him on the video game and you play against him, and apparently he's one of the bosses. It's just a crazy thing, and as a result of people not getting what they want, so they went on and did their own shit. um, I would like to play this again. This is a huge thing for me back in the day when we were playing this. Um, Meron ba tayong ganito na parang have you experienced anything like this, that it's a fan-made game and a mishmash of characters that we all know? Alam ko Dota has something similar back in Dota 1 eh. Yung mga Dragon Ball characters sila Luffy. Di
Oh.
ba? And you know, remember how it felt when it came out. It was like, oh wow, Dota, gagamitin ko si Sasuke, tapos kalaban si Vegeta and all that. This really just nails it down for me because it's such a huge thing to experience being a horror fan. If you were to pick your main here, sino kaya i-main mo, Kap?
Ako, I would pick Chuckie for this one.
Really?
Ko
The oldest guy in the group
preference.
picks the youngest character? Come on.
The youngest character. Pero, kasi bini mo, maliit siya, versatile, and judging from its moves, alam mo na he can like para sa trompong kangkarot in my term, no, paikot-ikot, patalo-talo
Matanda
saan
na yung
pupunta.
term mo na yan, pare. Oo.
Ganun talaga. So si at 'di ba? Kasi saan ka nakakita ng isang FGC character na bukod kay Mega Man dun sa na ganun kaliit pero can do a lot of stuff.
Si Gon, di ba? Wisit. Gon. Wisit ng Tekken.
Ayun. So,
Ikot-ikot lang.
Ayun. Ayun
Okay.
lang. That's how it is for me.
So you'll go for Chucky, no?
Oo.
Okay. Ikaw, Chino. If you were to pick from the roster, and I'm pretty sure not everything is very brand spanking new to Filipino audiences. Sino pipiliin mo dito?
Wala. Freddy Krueger ako.
Freddy Krueger ka, wow. Talaga?
Oo.
I've always been a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, shit. Wow. Talaga.
Yeah.
Diba? Sobrang klase niya lang eh. I mean, with this striped long sleeve sweater.
Yeah, it's fucking
may
bowler
fedora
hat.
cap. Bowler ba yun? I always thought it was a fedora.
It depends. It depends on the installment. Sometimes you wear a fedora, sometimes it's a bowler hat. Pero
tapos his long fingernails, long fingernails. His claws basically, diba? Sobrang lupit kaya nun.
so you played him obviously in Mortal Kombat 9. You got to try him out.
Oh yeah. Ganda.
Ang di ba? Parang when he first came out in Mortal Kombat 9, I was like, oh, finally. I was like, no, man, I played him before Terrordrome. I'd probably go for either Jason Voorhees, or
You would do Jason Voorhees.
I would do Jason Voorhees, or fucking Pinhead. Pinhead is just crazy scary, man. I mean, if there's any of these characters na medyo kinabahan ako nung bata ako, si Pinhead takot ako eh. Kasi literal demonyo to eh. Alam mo yun?
Actually, I have a question for you guys. Wala sa roster. Who would you add in?
That's a very good question. Kasi they have
Who would think
everyone.
that?
They have Ghostface,
They don't
Leatherface.
have everyone.
They don't.
They don't have everyone. They have basically the known ones, mainstream ones, diba?
Right. Well, obviously the xenomorphs and the predators are not here. The
Yeah.
aliens and the predators are not here. But if I were to add somebody, that's a good question. I never really thought about that.
Can I go first na? Para,
Sige, go.
baka mamaya, I would think of Sadako. Kasi wala pa silang female. Wala pa silang female character dun eh. Di ba? Puro lalaki.
Female, di siya si Carrie. Diba? Si Carrie, psychic girl. Diba?
Inisip ko paano si Sadako, pero Carrie, puta, definitely
with the psychic powers and all.
Powers niya, man. Come on.
Oh, telekinetic eh.
Diba? That would kill, definitely.
Pag Pinoy, pare. Pag maglagay, sige. Si Cap sabi Sadako eh. Sige, ako maglalagay din ako ng Japanese. Kung Japanese ang ilalagay natin, si Ichi the Killer ako. Diba? Yung
More of a
umiiyak.
gangster though. Oh, pero yeah. I get it.
Gory eh, di ba? Pero sige, kung Pinoy naman, baguhin natin kung Pinoy naman. Ako meron ako naisip, Brad. 2. Pero kailangan kalaban pala. Kailangan kalaban. Kayo muna. Hindi generic hindi pwede lalagay ako aswang. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Kailangan. Bigyan ko kayo isa.
Pinoy?
Meron ako.
Sige, sino? Sino?
Undin. Wow! Tang-ina.
Alaban ni Chuckie, Brad.
Pakita mo lang ba si Undin galing sa kubeta, no?
Where are my eggs? Sarang itlog ko. Ikaw, Kap, meron ka na?
Sa Pinoy?
Oo. Hindi, none of that generic crap, Yung ganyan, Undin. Classic yan.
Mga tikbalang.
Yung
May pangalan. Mas kilala.
Nuno. Ha?
Ay, may isa pa ako.
Lang ilalagay ko doon.
May isa pa ako.
Sino?
Petrang Kabayo.
Tayo, hindi ma-horror yan, pare.
Ay, putang ina, bakit? Hindi ka ba natakot nung nag-transform si Roderick Paulate?
Actually, yun ang nakakataka doon eh. Pare comedy yun, pero nung transform na yung Brad, ba't kinilabutan ako? Talaga,
yung mukha niya, di ba yung paano nag-transform? That's true.
Ako, meron ako. Ewan ko kung maalala na to. Balawis.
Balawis, yeah.
Hindi nyo alam yung Balawis? Dude, search it, man. What the fuck? How do you not know Balawis? Brad.
Tang-ina. Oo nga, no?
Diba?
This would kill all day. Tang-ina, hindi ko alam to.
This is a movie back in 1996, and it's probably one of the first non-supernatural characters ever devised in popular Filipino cinema. And it's supposed to be this ancient one-of-a-kind creature that lives in the forest. It's almost scientific in nature. So almost sci-fi tong horror na to, Brad. Balawis.
Alam mo, may isa pa ako.
Sino?
Si Lilia.
Sino?
Si Lilia.
Lilia kung tapay?
Lilia kung tapay. Secret character.
Unlockable. Up, down, left, right. AB, select star. Lilia.
Gusto ko sana si Lotus Fit pero putyang bagal nun sigurado.
Wala yan. Pero putang ina. Ano Kap? Wala kang ambag sa Philippine horror? Wala.
Or ano? Or yung killer refrigerator.
Frigidaire. Dude.
Frigidaire.
Pakita pag bukas ng may mga galamay, no?
Tapos mamanyakin niya yung babae.
Yan. Papasok si Sunshine Cruz.
Sunshine! Wala pa si Sunshine nun.
Pero merong scene si Sunshine Cruz sa isang pelikula niya nasa refrigerator siya.
Very nice. Sige, Kap,
ayaw mo nung Kap? Ayaw mo nung multo sa LRT? Galing sa Shake That
Multo in the city.
One of the most corniest movies I've ever watched.
I swear to
Yung
God,
multo sa yung LRT monster.
I feel fucking sorry for the Shake Rattle and Roll series when it went to
Honestly.
the modern times. Back in the day, it was scary as shit.
Hindi,
Sometimes
iba yun. Different level yun dati.
ibang level yun eh. You got Joey Marquez, Herbert Bautista as campy as shit. Pero matatakot ka eh.
Ngayon kasi para pinipilit na nila, alam mo 'yun. Pilit eh.
Pilit, tsaka special effects na,
They're trying
ano,
to they're forcing these types of mythological creatures to be living
right.
in your modern day transportation or ano. Oh, may isa
Eh,
pa ako.
sino?
Ang ahas ng Robinson.
Yan! Puta!
Yan.
Alice
no?
Dixon.
Alice Dixon, baby.
God
Yun.
damn. Terror Drome would have had an Filipino DLC. Yeah, dapat ganon. May DLC sila. Mga
Kunin nila si
cryptids.
Valentina.
Mga cryptid per
Suma.
country. Ganon. Suma tsaka si Galema. No? Man, puta solid.
Kalema. Ganyan.
Pero mahilig pa.
In the US kasi iba yung level ng characters nila eh. Alam mo yun, they portray mostly men.
Mm-hmm.
Saka
True.
alam mo na yung kumbaga per character has its own methods eh.
Right. That's true. I
Wala
would agree.
silang there is no unique, I mean, walang replicate. Wala naka-replicate sa kanila. So, halimbawa si Chuckie nag-aano ng kutsilyo. Alam mo kaagad na si
and his stick is always trying to transfer himself to a natural body. Olea do them Bella, give me the power, I beg of you. And every time he gets fucked up before he transfers his soul to the kid. Yeah, you're right.
Diba?
There's always a signature to these characters. And since while we're on the subject, ladies and gentlemen, so I hope you guys take a look at this game. It's called Terrordrome: Rise of the Boogeyman. Link is in the description below. Take a look at it. You can download it for free. Give the developers some love because I would say this is an awesome game. But since we are in the subject of horror movies, especially the Western ones, as you've mentioned, horror has had a huge run from the 1970s all the way to in the last 50 years, 5 decades, to the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. Horror has always been an active part of cinema, and it inspires a lot of stuff. Even Mortal Kombat was inspired by horror. Heck, even the game Terror Drone is actually derived from these movies themselves. So if I'm gonna ask you guys, do you guys have a list of favorite Western horror movies across 5 decades? Ako kasi, personally, I'm a huge horror movie buff. Ever since I was a kid, I remember, just to share with you guys, there was this one place that we go to rent VHS. Yeah, VHS and Betamax and laser discs.
Ano yun?
Minus whatever, man. I mean, you suck. You suck sa ano yun. But we would take out these video nights every Friday or Saturday. My parents would go there, especially my mom. And I would always go to the horror section and I would pick one. And always one or laser disc. Maliban dun sa nahuli kami na nag-rent out kami ng laser disc ng Tarzan X. But anyway, the movies
disc ng Tarzan X?
Eh, ang laki nun, di ba?
Ano yung laser disc?
Ewan ko sa'yo, tanong mo kay Cap, parang plaka sa kanila nun eh.
Cap, meron ka ba ng album ni ano? Meron ka ba bang album ni Magellan?
Wala. But I have a vinyl collection ng parang yung
Ni Emilio Aguinaldo.
For Reader's Digest, parang for pregnancy, yun yung last
Reader's
ko na
Digest.
Wow.
Yeah. You do have that.
Patandaan na. So, yung ganong size
you
ng
probably
vinyl,
have that.
So there's the Betamax, the VHS, and then if you want to have a more digital format, doon na lumabas yung laser disc. Yung vinyl size
CD
version na CD.
If you guys are not familiar with it, it's imagine your CD, your DVDs, but it's the size of a vinyl record. It's like this big. And then the packages are even larger. So a 10-year-old kid would have a problem carrying it on his own. So there had to be two of us na naglalakad
Right.
sa street
Yeah.
namin carrying Tarzan X. And we
I
were
remember
caught.
those. I remember those Laserdisc days.
Yeah.
So naalala ko yun kasi we have yung Laserdisc namin came from Brunei and we brought it here.
Uh-huh.
And dito sa Pilipinas kasi wala eh.
Wala masyado. Oo.
Meron man pero wala masyado. Pero doon kasi sa Brunei, we had like there was stores that we go to or there were like rental places that we'd go to. And they were like tok, tok, tok. Alam mo yung pag parang nasa Tower Records din.
Oo,
Tower
it's
Records.
going through
Mga ganun
the
ka.
thing.
Yeah, pero bigger. Diba? Tangin ang lupit din nun eh.
Nasaan na? Did you guys keep it? That's worth a fortune now.
It's still at home sa Alabang.
God damn, you should give us a tour. Pare, I swear, ang ganda nan. Give us a
Sige.
tour.
I'm not sure if it works still though.
That's fine, but just
should.
seeing that again now is just awesome. And most of these, home videos that you would borrow, you would rent out, hindi mawala ang horror dyan. Isa, kasi normally pito-pito kami magrenta eh. And then we'll return it the following week. And there's always one or two of them that's horror. And that's how I grew up. And I want to ask you guys, how did you get into horror movies back then? Ako through rentals on Betamax and VHS. That's how I got into it. And I have probably listed down a list for every genre, for everything. Pero I want to get to know about you guys. Captain Mike, ikaw, you've probably been around since the time of Nosferatu or
or the original vampire,
Yeah. Ano pa nun? Theater pa nun eh. Pero ikaw
Shakespeare pa ata yung director nun.
Lord Captain Michael of Essex. How did you get into horror movies?
Horror movies para sa akin is something na I don't want to watch alone. Dahil lumaki ako sa lola ko along sa kasambahay. Tapos magpapalabas sila ng ng show sa Channel 2 ng Sunday night. I remember that kasi my first exposure was The Fly.
Oh, The Fly. Si Grandmaster, what's his name? Shit. I forgot. How could I forget? He's one of my favorite actors. Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. So,
holy shit, The Fly.
Kasi alam mo yung yung time na yung parang sabi ko nakita ko lang yung part nun eh. I was like switching channels kasi gising ako nung gabi na yun. I was watching channels. Naghanap ako ng something to entertain myself. Diba? Tapos nung nakita ko yun, it was my biggest regret. Back then. And syempre, if you're nung bata pa ako kasi mag-isa nga lang ako noon, natakot ako. Medyo na-trauma ako ng konti sa part na yun.
Talaga?
And then, siguro yung next exposure ko na kagad was Scream.
Grabe naman talon nun.
Malaking talon nun. Kasi ganun nga ako ka-scaredy cat nun. I did mention that in the previous podcast na I was a scaredy cat when I was a kid. Pero syempre, when pinanood na namin yung Scream, parang sabi ko sa sarili ko,
si Ghostface.
Parang interesting din pala may interesting parts din pala ang horror movies, which obviously got me moving forward to kung ano makita ko na got my interest, diba? Pero later, as we go along, you will be surprised about my top pick.
Oh, interesting. Sige. Balikan natin yan. Let's get back to that as soon as we get to ask Chino. Chino, you have a history with horror movies. Where did you start? How did you get started
with
horror?
Actually, nung medyo bata pa ako, I really loved horror movies. Pero I'm more in tune with the Japanese ones. The real scary ones. Yung tipong titingin ka sa kaliwa mo, feeling mo may hininga ni Sadako sa gilid. Yung ganon.
Tapos yung makakarinig ka ng
And I believe that, alam mo, di ba, naalala mo yung, when you first watched The Ring, there was this rumor na pag may tumawag sa'yo, pag after mo manood, may tatawag sa'yo at mamamatay ka. Have you heard
7
of that?
days. You have 7 days to live.
You have 7 days to live. Sobrang takot talaga ako nun. I mean, I loved The Ring so much that I even watched, yung ibang movies niya pa. Sabi the ano yung Japanese, the Japanese name for it?
Ju-on.
Nakalimutan ko eh.
Alin? The Ring? Ringu. The Ringu.
Ring lang ba yun?
Ringu.
Ring, yeah, there you go. Tapos meron pang sumunod, tapos in-explore nila yung story ni Sadako, and I enjoyed every single bit of it.
Nice.
Parang mas nagustuhan ko yung Asia eh. Pero, syempre nagsimula din ako sa Western kasi yun yung nakukuha natin madalas eh. I watched The Exorcist and I definitely love The Exorcist.
Oh God,
napanood ko yung Cannibal Holocaust, if you guys remember. Faces of Death.
Goddamn Cannibal Holocaust. That's on a whole different level, man.
I watched it like a porn movie, do you believe?
Everybody watches for like a porn movie because you're not supposed to be watching it at all. That's the whole point. People would caution you against it. God.
Yeah, I started with Aliens. Yung mga ganon. So yeah, I had a fairly great experience with horror movies. Pero when I grew up, medyo naging iba na yung pananaw ko with it. I grew more scared of things. I think nag-start yan, yung phobia ko. Kasi I was really into horror movies noon. And one monster that I truly love was the werewolf. Napanood nyo na yung The Monsters? Napanood nyo yung The Monsters?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Black and white. Nung kabataan mo to eh, black and white siya. 50s,
I think he was already an intern at the time. This is post-war, yeah.
50s. It's 50s ba? Basta black and white siya. And I love the comedy behind the Dracula, si Frankenstein. Pero isa sa mga character pinakagusto ko was a werewolf. The werewolf character. Sobrang gusto ko siya. To the point na napanaginipan ko siya.
Really?
As in literal, nung nasa Brunei pa kasi kami, I was like, nasa isang room kami ng parents ko, and I had no bed yet yung time na yun. Or I did kasi di na ako kasya sa bed ko. So natulog ako sa sahig, and then nanaginip ako na there was like a big ass werewolf staring at me sa may hallway. Yung hallway kasi namin na yun, may ilaw lang, yellow light. Sobrang takot ako na hanggang ngayon naaalala ko siya, yung takot ko, naalala ko siya. So after nun, sabi ko parang sobrang nagka-phobia ako kasi dahil dun sa nightmare na yon. After that, parang hindi na ako masyado nanonood ng horror movies. And it's sad. It's sad kasi, nandun pa rin ako sa stage na parang gusto ko siya i-explore eh. I want to watch American Horror Story, yung series, if you guys know that.
Yeah.
Gusto ko siya simulan sa umpisa.
Oh, you'd love it. I swear to God. We binged watch, especially the wife, the wife binged watch American Horror Stories. Couldn't get enough of it.
I'm still trying to get my feet back there. Hopefully na magtuloy-tuloy ako kasi actually nag-start kami kahit paano, the haunting of Hill House. If you guys know that, man, sa mga pinagusto ko, Haunting of Hill House, great ending too.
Nice. And that's the thing, I mean, I understand where Chino is coming from because we tend to gravitate towards things that we can relate to. And we're Asians. In Asia, it's mostly supernatural. It's mostly ghosts and curses and that's what scares us. But in the West, where we almost all started watching in pop culture history, is the fact that they're all slashers and gory and violent stuff. and they were monsters, and I like it. I'm glad that you mentioned that you like werewolves and lycans. I have such a recommendation for you to check out. Definitely, pare. But I want to know from a Western horror perspective, what are your favorites? Kasi you mentioned kanina, Exorcist. Pare, Exorcist is hands down the one of the most iconic horror movies out there. Si Cap mentioned The Fly, one of the most popular sci-fi horror movies out there. And I also have a lot, and I've taken a look. I've done research on from 1970 to the 2010s. Do we have a top 10? What is your top 10 thing across 50 years? Okay, 5 decades of horror and monsters and blood and guts and spilling all over the place. Um, of Western horror. And then we're gonna have a special spotlight for Asian horror, but right now we're gonna be talking about Western horror because this is a huge inspiration for the games that we love and play today. Mortal Kombat is hugely inspired by horror movies. A lot of tabletop games are inspired by that. The freaking zombie, Left 4 Dead, like you have Dawn of the Dead. George A. Romero did all of that. Let me start off in the 70s. There's this one movie that had made me afraid of one thing until now. And it's a movie none other than Steven Spielberg. It's called Jaws.
Ooh.
Fucking shark, dude. Until now, you would not see me venturing too far away from the beach simply because of that shark. That same shark that I saw, and it went on for multiple series, pero it really made not just me, a lot of people got afraid of getting into the water because of that movie. That's for me in the 70s. That's one of my favorites. Kayo ba? 70s movies.
Ako, wala. Binanggit ko na kanina, definitely The Exorcist.
Exorcist.
That's one of the greatest movies I've ever watched. Sa totoo lang. I mean, dun pa lang sa scene, yung parang siya naka-spotlight. Dun pa lang sabi mo, oh shit, he's going inside. Tapos yung pagpasok niya sa room, tapos nakikita niya na nakatali, di ba? I mean, grabe yung hindi nga siya dong takot eh. It's what's more of enjoyment seeing, seeing like the battle between demon and man of God.
Right.
And how he tries to fight off, diba? Pero we all know what happened.
True.
Diablo.
Ikaw ba, Captain Mike? 1970s, ikaw ay professional niyan during that time.
Professional.
Professional hustler.
70s kasi is the start nung yung alam mo yun how
internship,
how the Westerners created their own horror stories, diba? Out of kukuha sila ng, they use their creative minds to come up with horror films. And for me, my choice is Carrie.
Carrie. Aww. Good girl gone bad.
And for a lot of reasons, alam mo yun, yung good girl gone bad, telekinesis, the thing about coming of age kasi to eh. Yung movie na to eh. And Carrie is, trying to rediscover herself. Trying to discover herself and she goes through high school. Diba?
Ay.
Tapos, kung paano siya binetray at paano siya gumanti.
Never push a good girl too far. Like Cap.
Never
Is a
push.
good girl.
Never push anyone for that matter too far.
So, tapos telekinetic pala si Cap, no? Tawag kayo ng matanda. Boom! Puta. Oh!
Pinatanda mo ko.
Actually, if that were to, if that take off your hairs, you son of a...
Sige. If that's your pick for the 1970s, let's do an honorable mention. Um, One thing I really enjoyed, not necessarily scared, but I really enjoyed, um, and it's kind of tricky for me kasi Thai siya, is either Alien, the very first Alien. I really enjoyed that series. I really started watching the series after that. Um, or another sea creature called piranhas. I mean, I swear to God, that made me
Piranhas, I've watched that too.
that made me afraid of the unknown even more. Even more. Like, there was a time na, alam mo yung pakiramdam pare, naliligo ka, di ba? And if pag nagbuhos ka, you'd have to close your eyes. And then you imagine there are piranhas or there's a shark above you. So kailangan buksan mo agad yung mata mo para masigurado mong hindi ka, alam mo yun. You would imagine shit when you're taking a shower and your eyes are closed. So I would take a bath doing this just because I don't want to imagine either a shark or a fucking group of piranhas swimming under my feet. But that's a tie between aliens because aliens naman made me afraid of crawling under the table. Kasi yung mga laro namin dati taguan, di ba? Eh, ang ugali ng alien lalabas dun sa vent. Alam mo, bigla kang gaganunin, di ba? That's my on. Those are my honorable mentions. Kayo ba? Ano pang isang movie from the 70s?
I'd go for I'd go for Piranha rin.
Piranhas, di ba?
Kasi,
Piranhas. It created this
diba
wild notion no?
Yung imagine mo yung nakaamoy yung imagine mo mga fish nakaamoy ng dugo and then these are small fish na kapag they can like eat you entirely, and in the movie it was taken out in the yung nasa labas yun alam mo yun, nasa pan sila, naliligo sila and people were like fighting for their lives just to get away from these from these creatures na nga to, don't want to call them fish anymore because of the nature they give out.
Right.
And yun yung reason naman kung bakit ako natatakot maligo sa sapa o sa dagat.
Sa sapa. Who says sapa? You.
I do.
Anong suot mo habang naliligo sa sapa? Chaleco?
Hanford brief. Sagot ko dyan, Hanford brief ng bata ko.
Hanford tsaka Brute.
Yeah, Brute. Pero imagine mo yung notion na yun, maliligo ka.
Anong suot mo sa paa mo nun? Sinelas?
Rambo na may double B, pre.
Sinelas.
Pero imagine mo nandun ka, naliligo ka sa sapatos, nakikita mo yung maliligo ka, kasi makikita mo sa ilalim, madilim, diba? And in the movie, yung mga pirana na yun, bigla lang nilang, they'll just come out of nowhere and they'll eat you alive.
Right.
So, doon pa lang sa notion na yun, pag tinitingnan ko pa lang yun, doon ko na matatakot kagad eh.
True. Sige, so sa'yo special mention mo sa 70s, Piranhas din. Okay. Ikaw, Chino.
Okay.
70s favorite mo is Exorcist, di ba? Special mention.
Actually, meron akong special mention talaga. I'm not sure kung 70s yan, pero definitely, hindi ba, 70s ba yung Cannibal Holocaust?
Oo,
di ba? Yun.
Actually, well, no. It just made
it can't be the 80s, man.
It was released in 1980. The first time it was released. So 80s na siya, sorry. Released siya in 80. Ang release date
I actually have another one.
Sige. Pero okay yung
I'm not sure kung kasama yung Nosferatu dito actually.
Nosferatu, 1970s yan.
1970s ba? Parang I felt like it was older. No, pero ko siya. Parang feeling ko, parang lumang-luma na tong pelikula na to.
Kasi it's about they're trying to film the vampire during the day, Pero Nosferatu is also very good, no? I actually like it.
It is. It actually is. It was actually the first vampire movie na napanood ko. And I always remember that bald. Kaya before talaga, I've always pictured Dracula as, a dark figure na all black. I've never pictured him na parang may collar na, alam mo yun, with a cape and may beard and whatnot. I've always
Mm.
pictured him as Nosferatu.
Mm.
Definitely.
Actually, just to be completely correct about it, the very first Nosferatu film was 1922. That was absolutely black and white.
Oh, the black and white one. I remember that.
Nosferatu the Vampire 1979. Yun yung medyo remake na siya eh. Pero I mean, I wouldn't begrudge you naman for not picking the 1922.
May isa pa ako though.
Oh, ano?
Tales of the Crypt.
Tales of the 1970s ba yun?
Oh!
Si Crypt-keeper.
The movie. The first movie ata yun before it became a series.
Tales from the Crypt.
Pagkakalam ko
80s na yan eh.
80s na ba yun?
Oh.
The first movie?
The movie. Teka nga. Tales of the Crypt 1972. You're right. Tama.
Tales of the Crypt.
God damn.
The first time we met the fucking Crypt-keeper. Yung Crypt-keeper yan. Napaka-creepy talaga ng taong yan.
Ang tao pa ba to?
I think BJ was referring to the cartoons.
Oh, may cartoons nun eh. Pero yeah, the very first script. Holy shit, I almost forgot about this. Oh my God.
Okay.
Why did you like this? I know why I liked it, but why is this your special mention?
Kasi I remember the series eh. And when I watched the series, ang alam ko kasi may movie to. Alam ko kasi may movie to. So I watched it. Alam ko nga dalawa yung movies nito eh. One was parang during the 90s. If I'm not mistaken. Tapos one ito nga yung sa 70s. Kaya sobrang special mention siya kasi nga I watched the series. Sobrang nakakatakot. I remember how yung camera magpapan papunta sa bahay. Oh. Hello, Kitty.
Tapos tayo lalabas pa siya sa yung puppet. Visit
Ano nakakagago pa. May kwento pa siya. Alam mo yung may kwento pa.
Correct. That's good. Now I really want to watch movies. Okay, fine. We've lingered so much in the 70s. Let's travel 10 years further into the future. Eto na yung mga binabanggit ni Chino. 80s. Man. '80s is when they sort of got the perfected versions of almost all of the things. Of the slashers.
Usually slashers eh. Oh.
Yan. And I'm pretty sure mention ni Chino yung American Werewolf in London and all that. And dito na nagsimulang maging madugo eh yung mga bagay-bagay. But if I were to start with one of my favorite things that I really got scared here, it's actually tied. The very first one was Pet Sematary. So afraid of Pet Sematary when I was a kid. Pet Sematary for me is so fucking scary.
Ako rin.
That I actually believed it to be true.
I didn't like the remake though. I didn't like the remake. Napanood mo ba yung remake?
Yung bago and it wasn't much of a thing for me. But this is the start of one of my favorite things. One of my favorite movies. Pero probably ano na natin yan, special mention na. Pero ang katayin nung sa akin ng Pet Sematary was Hellraiser.
Oh.
Hellraiser, pinagalitan pa ako nila. I remember my mom got angry with me because it's an R-rated movie, right? And I'm supposed to cover my eyes in the adult movies. I couldn't cover my eyes because whenever I cover my eyes, I imagine the fucking Pinhead strapping me to a chain. Okay? The things he does are painful as shit. He would rip pakita mo yung mga litid-litid nila eh. Tapos kinakabitan ng kadena. Alam mo yan? And I couldn't cover my eyes because I would imagine it. So I'd open my eyes and I saw two people doing the thing in front of me. And it was awkward because I have my mom and my dad next to me. BJ, cover your eyes. I can't. I'm too scared. so yeah, those are my favorites for this decade. Pet Sematary because people come back from the dead and they're bad people. And then of course Hellraiser. Ikaw.
First and second na kagad to?
Ha? No. I mean,
First and second
mine is tied. Mine is tied.
Okay.
That's my favorite. Ikaw. Sa 1980s tayo.
Tino has a lot. He's working already at that time.
Oh, Chino, working ka na daw ng 80s.
Talaga, niloloko mo pa ako lang ganyan, Kap. Huwag tayo maglokohan. Baka ikaw, working at that time. I was born here in the 80s. Hello.
Ito, nandito yung The Fly mo, Captain Mike. Pero sige, kay Chino muna tayo.
Napalad mo nga yung The Fly eh. Ako napalad ko yung The Fly, 90s pa eh.
Kaso monti ka nang mahuli dun sa Nosferatu 1922. Monti ka na.
Mahilig lang.
Okay. Sige, ikaw ang maraming sinabi sa 1980s. So what's yours? Ikaw muna. 80s, Noch. 80s.
Ako ba?
Oh yeah.
Definitely, gusto ko rin yung Pet Sematary. Kaya kinompare ko yung American Werewolf, definitely. Yung nalala niyo yung transformation scene na yun. Yung dahan-dahan humahaba yung galamay niya. Tapos yung tunog niya, parang yung tennis mo huminga. Diba? Di ko alam kung considered pa to eh. But also, I actually love Gremlins. Pero I don't consider this a horror scene. Pero some do. Some do consider it a horror.
It was supposed to be horror.
Supposed to be, diba? Pero wala. Di ko pwedeng hindi banggitin ng The Shining here. I cannot not say The Shining. Definitely. And of course, Aliens. Pero, yeah.
Ako kasi, I didn't get to appreciate The Shining until I was a bit older kasi it's more of a psychological thing.
Kahit naman ako eh.
Diba?
Pero, hindi ko naman siya pinanood from sa pelikula. Malamang si Cap napanood yung premiere nun.
Kasama siya sa production, di ba alam? Siya yung
nandun siya eh.
Ikaw, Cap. Sige, 1980s. What's your favorite
Best
one?
ko.
Best.
Best ko for me is Child's Play.
Si Chuckie nga pala.
Si Chuckie.
Kasi Child's Play in the 80s alam mo yung mukha ni Nightmare on Elm Street yun. That was the Venus's favorite. Ako naman kasi top favorite ko is Child's Play. Kasi pag tinignan mo, tama si BJ no, sinabi niya in the 80s nagsa-start pa lang yung master na ng Westerners yung style ng horror na gusto nilang i-cater na para doon sa audience na gusto nilang i-cater.
Right,
Child's Play is scary for me and I'm actually impressed at that time. Animatronics started. Doon nag-start yung animatronics horror. Yung pagsalita ni Chuckie doon with the facial expressions, yung mata niya, yung bibig niya, 'di ba? And it was powered by a human na gumagalaw yung panga niya. Kaya gumagalaw din yung panga ni Chuckie doon sa that alone pero pag tinignan mo siya nung una, parang feeling mo talaga, akala mo it was just like puppet using the hands Nalaman ko na lang later on na it was animatronics. Tapos yung storyline pa niya, kung paano niya gustong i-execute yung mga taong nakikita niya. Ang daming tanong dun sa na yun and the method of execution of this character, matatakot kang humawak ng manikay.
Yeah.
Lalo na malaki gano'n.
True.
True.
It started the whole creepy doll thing.
Imagine a doll with a knife, diba?
At night, diba? Okay, sige. Chuckie, that's good. Ito medyo, itong 80s na to, ang daming paborito dyan Daming paborito dyan. So I don't think I would even have the capacity to ask for a special mention kasi is-special mention na natin lahat yan. The Thing, The Shining, Child's Play, Elm Street. Andiyan na lahat yan Diyan na nagsimula yan. Talon tayo ng medyo recent 90s.
Hindi ko nabanggit yung Elm Street, man.
Ay, di mo ba? Ay, kaya nga. So, I mean, the 80s is like, for me, it's the golden age of slasher movies. You have the aliens there. Pero, again, wala tayong hindi nagustuhan dito sa genre na to. Pero ngayon, talon tayo 90s. Okay.
Yan.
90s was the time where they were trying to push the limits of what the 80s were able to achieve. So you will have a lot of, revised, reprised, and a lot of revisited worlds from the 80s. This time, let's start off with Captain Mike. What's your favorite 90s horror movie?
Scream. Kasi yun na yung
Scream.
yan yung reason kung bakit ako bumalik, revisited the other horror movies, 'di ba? Syempre nung parang nung mga time na yan, 'di ba, that's the decade of VCDs, 'di ba? Syempre pag may kakilala ka na pwede mong hiramin yung mga old copies noon, doon ka na magsa-start eh. Doon mo na mapapanood yung ibang mga other horror movies eh. And sa Scream kasi ako nung time na yon na napaano ko, I was on a date back then. I was that old.
Bagets talaga yung mga gusto nito eh. No?
True story to Siyempre, pag natatakot ka doon sa movie ng Scream, yung mapapayakap sa'yo, yung jowa mo.
Yan. May ulterior motive.
Well, that was not an ulterior motive, pero it ended that way. So, thank you for that date. Oh, yun.
Wow. Nagpasalamat.
Pero the movie made me, not because of that date, but because of the story nung Scream that led me to appreciate horror movies.
Right.
Don't look at me like that, ha? She's looking at me like that.
Ayan na nga. Kasalanan mo yan.
No. Yeah, yun na nga, sinisigawan mo ako nun. Siyempre ako to, magugulantang ako eh. But we'll talk about that Venus and Mike story later on. Pero sige, for me, that's Scream.
Okay. Ikaw Noch, pare. 90s horror flick.
Dami dito. You have Silence of the Lambs. You have Interview with the Vampire. You have The Werewolf. You have Scream. You have Scream, diba? Pero ako, out of all the movies that I mentioned talaga, para sa akin, Interview with the Vampires and From Dusk Till Dawn.
Nako pa, napanggit pa yun.
Salma Hayek, baby!
God damn. I would
George
agree.
Clooney, diba?
I would actually agree with that. Interview with the Vampire. I'm a huge fan of Anne Rice books. I used to have Anne Rice books back then when I was in high school. Interview with the Vampire was done modestly well.
Sobrang galing talaga nun. I mean, it wasn't as much of a horror story that I think it is. Pero everything that involves vampires, diba? They place it on horror. Okay, so be it. It was more of a romantic. Hindi ko alam eh, kasi the story sa character, yung character ni Brad Pitt was sobrang telling. It was sobrang gadling yung pagkagawa ng story niya, how Tom Cruise came to bite him rather. Tapos yung transformation niya, then they met Anna, mas nakalimutan ko yung from the Spider-Man movie. Okay, I'm bad with names, pero sobrang galing lang nung paggagawa ng Interview with the Vampire. And I heard there was going to be a remake.
Oh, really? Of Interview of the Vampire? Kasi the last one that they showed from the Anne Rice collection was Queen of the Damned.
Yeah. Si Alicia.
Si Alicia
Aliyah.
Bago siya pumanaw, no? God rest her soul. Wow, remake, huh? Interesting.
I heard.
Well, I have two. one that I'm really entertained with, and then another one that I was legitimately frightened also. And that's my gauge when it comes to the horror movies that I like. One that I was really afraid of was the Blair Witch Project.
Oh man.
Because it fucking came out of nowhere. The Blair Witch Project was the first of its kind. Found footage. Has no context. Doesn't have any fucking trailer. Doesn't have a lot of marketing. It just shows you this, hodgepodge of video slapped
Actually,
together.
YouTube lang yung marketing niya, ang pagkakalam ko eh.
Very, very little, if any. Diba? Na to the point that when you watch it on the cinema, people would wonder what the hell happened because it ends abruptly. It ends like blah blah, yun na, tapos nahila na siya, tapos yun na, and there's a long silence, and then suddenly the lights will turn on. Like, holy shit, is the movie done? And that's the first time that the found footage subgenre of horror started, which was then picked on by your paranormal activities and whatnot. And it really still at the time scared me. One movie that I always would like to watch though, not for the scare factor, but for the way that it's written, is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh yeah.
Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves, and I just like watching that. It's just really awesome for me. Special mention yung there's this really stupid fucking movie. It's called Dead Alive.
I watched that. It's a comedy.
It's the dumbest comedy movie. It's so bad it's good. Alam mo yun? Napaka-brain dead ng movie. Nakilos mo panoorin. Kasi the practical effects are just gory and stupid in nature. It has no good story. It's just one old woman was bit by a rat, and then she became a zombie, and all hell broke loose. Yeah. That, and of course, dami. Ano ba tawag doon? Event Horizon. The very first time that I had an experience supernatural mixed with sci-fi. So that's it for me. Ang dami rin eh. Pero itong mga susunod na to, wala na ako masyadong maiko-contribute. Because when the 2000s hit, right? When the 2000s hit, I was not, this was the time that China's probably more into Asian stuff. I was, at the time, I was more into watching documentaries. I don't know how many eons na nang nabuhay si Cap at this point. But is there a 2000s movie that 2000s not 2010s, 2000s, the first decade of the new millennium? Meron ka bang gustong horror movie?
Captain? Probably Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
It wasn't a horror, it's more of a
Shaun
comedy,
of the Dead.
diba? Pero
fucking love Shaun of the Dead.
Diba? Shaun of the Dead.
Cool.
Iba talaga yun. And 28 days later. Pero for me kasi it's more of a, dito nagsisimula yung mga plague, virus movies, diba?
Ito na yan.
Resident Evil type
28,
shit.
28 days. Tama, 28 days.
28 days, yeah.
The first one. Kasi the part 2 was 28 weeks later.
Yep.
Okay. Ikaw, Cap.
For me, 2000s, for me, it's Paranormal Activity.
Oo. Oo, solid yun, man.
Although yung Blair Witch Project happened earlier, yung Paranormal Activity kasi for me, parang pave way to a more
hindi ako natakot for a week. Hindi ako natulog for a week doon.
Di ba? And there's this thing that if you watch it on the movie, it has a different ending. You watch it on DVD, it has a different ending. Di ba? And
alam mo yun, yung tipong, yun siguro yung movie na I was with a group of friends na sobrang natakot ako nung hinatak na yung babae, ganun ako sa, sorry, naalog ko yung table ko mismo, napaano rin ako sa...
hinila yung babae sa palabas ng kwarto.
Doon ko
natagpuan na ito sa siso. Sa swing pala, sa swing.
Grabe.
Tapos yung yung realism kasi nung Paranormal Activity for me is parang ito na yung parang ginawa nilang real life para pinalabas silang real life using homemade video.
Yeah.
Tapos at the same time, parang yung mga instances na alam mo may special effects naman din eh. If you think about in a perspective, if you think about it, pero it looks so real na akala mo it was homemade.
Right.
Na pinagtagpi-tagpi lang yung mga videos. So yun, that for me is my my best movie in the start of the millennia.
Ikaw, Chino, yun talaga yung Shaun of the Dead.
From the Dead.
Shaun of the
Definitely.
Dead. I
You have
loved
one.
watching Dawn of the Dead. Yung sa mall. Yung remake na yun. I like that. But if I were to recommend something apart from Zombieland, kasi ito na yung mga zombie movies eh. Watch Wreck. Dude, I swear to God, hindi mo, you will not, of course, Red Dragon is always gonna be my all-time classic thriller favorite. No? Pero Wreck, as in record, REC, it has such a great twist on the entire zombie outbreak thing. It's a Spanish movie. It comes in 4 installments. The third one was stupid because they were trying to deviate from the whole thing. Pero I have all 4 movies. Nakakatuwa siyang panoorin. And it's tiring to watch it. Kasi parang nahihirapan yung nanonood na pati sila parang ang hirap naman ng pinagdadaanan ng mga. Pero watch it. It's a recommendation for everybody. Wreck 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 3 negligible. Any special mention in the 2020s, 2010, 2000s that you would like to mention also na nagustuhan mo? Captain Mike, Noch.
Ako
Believe it or
Brother,
not, I will
although hindi ko pa napapanood to, pero I really want to watch Brotherhood of the Wolf. I'll probably download it in a little bit.
Please do. I recommend that also. Ikaw, Captain Mike.
Nothing follows for me for the 2000s. Although there were notables kagaya ng 28 Days Later. Yun naman hindi ko pa napapanood. Pero I
panoorin mo
believe
rin.
it's that's a good movie nga daw.
Ito na kasi yung time na tinalo na ng Eastern horror yung box office when it comes to Western.
Right.
The Western horror scene have been, they're trying to catch up, but they just can't. This is where The Rings. There's even English adaptations, American adaptations of The Ring and The Grudge. No? Pero natalo na kasi sila eh. Talo na sila eh. And now finally, in the last decade, 2010s, medyo, I would say, the Western horror industry is kind of deviating from the slasher thing. Nagiging nostalgia na lang yung mga slashers. But they're now coming up with really interesting supernatural ghost-led stories in the last decade, 2010s. Yeah? Apart from the remakes kasi like Halloween was remade, the Nightmare on Elm Street
was remade.
It was remade. But there are a few siguro outstanding ones. I would start with 2, and that's The Conjuring and ano yung isa? The Conjuring and there's one more. It's always these 2. The Conjuring and
The Nun?
No. Si Conjuring and then si Elise. Elise, the character. Gosh.
Hereditary?
No. That's yung na skeleton key yun eh. Skeleton. I'm just gonna search it real quick. Insidious. Insidious and The Conjuring for me gave me some fright. Gulat. Lalo na yung favorite scene ko doon, yung na-trap siya sa The Conjuring to. Trapped in the basement. Right? She was just by the door won't open. And they were playing Clap and Find. Yung scene, ako ko naalala nito mga kaibigan. So,
yeah, of course.
Taguan, tapos hanapin mo kung saan yung palakpak. Nung nandun na siya sa when she was trapped in the fucking stairwell to the basement, puto may kamay na lumabas sa tabi niya. Gumano, nakaupo, takot ako. Hindi ako umihi. I have forgone my ability to go to the bathroom for the rest of the evening. So yung dalawang yun, that's it for me. I don't even have any special mentions. Pero for the 2010s, The Conjuring and Insidious. Kayo ba?
Ako, definitely Hereditary.
Hereditary? What's that?
Kasi it's kind of a psychological horror. It's
Hereditary.
about a cult.
Uh-huh.
And I'm really bad with names. Pero basically, yung grandmother of this family who just recently died, apparently, she had a secret. I think she was a member of a cult.
Mhm.
Not only a member, pero yung pinipraise nila sa kulto na to, that being was possessing these family members. And umabot sa
Okay.
point na yung pinakabatang bunso is namatay, sobrang gruesome pagkamatay, tapos yung nanay nagbuot ng ulo, yung tatay nasunod. Basta read up on Hereditary and watch it. Sobrang freaky niya. Kasi it's cult.
I think I will. It's really interesting. I'm looking at it here.
Cult-ish yung take niya. Pero really supernatural. And The Haunting of Hill House. That one.
Oo. The Haunting of it.
Pare, sabi ko
Solid.
sa'yo. I mean, you
Solid
rarely watch horror stories that also have good stories to match. It's really more on the scary stuff, diba? I watched The Nun, walang kwenta. I wasn't even that scared of it. May mga nakaagulat, pero that's it. There's no story behind it. Pero itong Haunted of Hill House was sobrang galing ng storya behind these horror scenes. Ang galing niya talaga.
This is the Netflix TV show?
This is the Netflix one, yeah.
Holy shit.
This
I
is the
should
Netflix
watch this.
one. Oh, you haven't? You haven't?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man.
This is interesting.
Ako para sa akin, sige, you're a fan of horror movies, got that. Pero if you're also a fan of deep stories, family stories.
I am.
Ayan, tangina pare. I mean, the story behind it and the ending was so perfect. Para sa akin, it was so parang shit, wala na bang sequel to? Then the sequel came and it did not have anything to do with the first movie.
Really?
So yun, Haunting of Hill House, definitely.
Sige. Noted. Thank you. Ikaw, Kap. 2010s. Naka-mute ka, ba? Naka-mute ka sa Zoom.
Wag mo kasi galaw-galawin yung audio mo na naman.
Kasi may kumakausap sa akin, kailangan kong sagutin.
Sabagay.
So to answer the question, it's The Conjuring.
The Conjuring din sa'yo. Iba rin yung The Conjuring no?
If there's, dapat sasabihin
ko panahon hindi ako masyado nanonood ng horror movies talaga.
Sasabihin ko rin na Orphan was napanood ko noong 2010s but it's a 2009 film.
Orphan. Yeah.
But I felt that. Pero yun yung isa sa mga traumatic para sa akin. Yung Orphan. And at napanood ko siya ng 20. There's a connection to that. And that's the reason why
Bakit? Ano yun?
Alam mo yung feeling na yun na akala mo bata pa siya. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Akala ko bata pa ako.
Pa siya. And ended up na hindi na pala.
Yeah,
you have to watch that movie.
Maniac yung girl. Another thing I want to share with you guys is as above, so below. Pero yun.
Ako, may isa rin akong special mention. Us.
Ano?
Us.
Pucha, oo, para napanood ko yung Us. Grabe.
Man.
Saya din nun.
I mean, it's not so freaky. Pero the story itself, pero puta, ano kaya ang nangyari sa akin yun? Motherfucker.
Diba? Something funny and campy, na talagang as an homage to all horror movies out there is Cabin in the fucking Woods, man. I mean, you gotta watch Cabin in the Woods. It's stupid, it's funny, it's crazy. Pero yung bahay kasi it houses all of the
Oo nga
monsters. Nandun din yung The Ring. Nandun din yung fucking
At yung
werewolf.
katarantaduhan nun was, ang late lang nung cabin.
Oo,
Wala mo
dito
yun.
ng cabin. Puta yung pala parang Resident Evil Mansion sa Resident Evil 1. Ang dami palang ano sa baba. Puta may Cenobite. May werewolf. May zombie na virus. May zombie na witchcraft. Alam mo yun, puta yun. Tapos bandang uli lumabas yung old god no, na higante. Puta. Tapos naaasar sila dun sa Ghost of Japan kasi yung mga bata dinasalan lang na kami na ano ito tatalo nila yung ghost by the power of friendship. That's
Parang Care Bears. Care Bears pumasok sa Resident Evil Mansion.
and the funny thing is Thor is there. Chris Hemsworth was there. Right? And Sigourney Weaver was there. It's weird. It's dumb. Pero to me, okay, last question before we end the evening. All time, give me one movie. One movie that is the best horror in all sense of the word, yung talagang nakakatakot of all time across all of these things.
Para
What
sa
would you
akin?
pick? Sige, start with Noch.
I mean, isa talaga nakakatakot or best para sa'yo? Kasi that's two different things eh.
Then let's make it both. Sige, one that's really super, really scary, and then one that it might not be scary, but the story was good.
Ako
Yun
ano, sige, mauna lang siguro ako. Definitely The Exorcist would be one of the best for me. I mean,
Agree.
I'm not to ano no. Pero it was an inspiration for the other movies that came after it para sa akin, and sobrang ganda lang nung paggagawa na up to this day. Makikita mo pa rin yung mga tao parang tang The Exorcist.
Right.
The scariest though, honestly talaga, we'll have to talk about this, pero for me the scariest isn't any Western movie.
So none of the Western movies literally
For me.
scares you. Okay.
You know why?
I can respect that.
Alam mo bakit? Tanongin mo ba?
Sige, bakit?
Sige. The scariest movie for me, and again, we will talk about this further. The scariest movie for me was Ju-on, The Grudge.
Oh shit, man, yeah.
Alam mo, ito yung bakit.
Oh.
I borrowed The Grudge. It was the time na medyo mahilig ako manood ng horror movies na Asian. I borrowed The Grudge and sobrang tumagal siya doon. Nakaupo lang siya doon sa cabinet namin. I said, okay, sige, fuck it. I'll watch it. Pinanood ko siya. Tanghaling tapat.
Famous last words. Fuck it, let's do this. Okay.
Tanghaling tapat. Sinarado ko yung pintuan. Tanghaling tapat Hindi pa ako nagtatagal. Nandun pa lang ako sa scene na parang nakita niya yung bata. Gumano lang yung bata. Fucking sinarado ko siya. That was one of the first few scenes you're going to watch. Alam mo, yung mga unang-unang scenes sinarado ko lang. Sabi, fuck, I can't do this. Wala na. Hindi ko na kaya. Ganun siya, nakakatakot sa akin. I mean, I sat through The Ring, all three of them.
Wala.
Natakot ako, pero I love the story, The Ring, by the way. Pero Ju-on, putang inang Grudge. Ewan ko.
Right. Sige. Understandable, respectable. Thank you. Captain Mike, what about you? What's the best horror story in movies across 5 decades? And if there is one movie that really scared you, what would those be?
The one with the best story would be Carrie.
Carrie.
Jim Carrey?
Hindi,
Carrie Dad Sanchez. Carrie. Oh, I can see why. I can see why.
Scariest is Child's Play.
Really? You're still afraid of Chuckie?
Tawag kasi Child's Play?
Child's Play or Paranormal Activity.
Oh, which
Kasi
one?
Just
Kailangan isa lang.
one lang eh.
Isa lang. Ano mas nakakatakot? Paranormal Activity o Chuckie? Child's Play?
Paranormal
Hindi ako
Activity.
paranormal eh. Ito, Child's Play. Come on. Literal
Hindi,
Child's
I get
Play.
Parang I would choose Paranormal Activity kasi ayokong gumising ako na meron akong kagat sa tagiliran ko.
Si Venus lang yun.
Hindi, I mean, okay.
Si Venus yung gagawin sa'yo.
Yung kakagatin ako ni Venus sa tagiliran. No. Pero, yun. That's it for me.
Okay. Sige.
Pero may tanong din ako pero sige, go muna.
No, go. Ask it now.
Di ba kayo natakot sa teeth?
Saan?
Well, I was more concerned than afraid of teeth.
Saan?
Teeth. You've never seen it? You haven't seen teeth, have you?
I've seen teeth, and I don't like it.
Okay. Because it's campy as shit, you know, like. Yeah. I was more concerned that I hope it doesn't happen, because I'd be in trouble if that does. I would say one of the best horror thrillers that I've had, actually horror is of course the Hannibal series. Paborito ko yan. Thomas Harris, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs, and then you have Red Dragon muna, Silence of the Lambs, and then Hannibal. Even the crappy Hannibal Rising I watched, yung bata pa siya, and then the recent one with what's his name, yung bagong Hannibal, I watched it. But scariest for me, what the talagang natakot ako was the Western. If there's anything, it's torn between Paranormal Activity and The Conjuring. Kasi no, because here's the thing: Jaws, piranhas, and arachnophobia, that's a different kind of shit. All right, because it's
different
true.
kind.
It's a different kind of shit. I mean, I'd be afraid of it. Yes. Am I afraid of sharks? Yes. I'm not afraid of the movie, but I'm afraid of sharks. The spider thing and the piranha thing is just, it resonates. Because they're real.
Na lang yung mga yun eh.
They're real. The threat is real. I'm saying Paranormal Activity is not real, but it's scary as shit. You know what I'm saying? Pero that's a good thing to jump off of from, because do I consider Western horror really terrifying and scary? Not really. It's probably more entertaining to me than that of other things, and than that of Asian stuff. So we're gonna leave the discussion right here, ladies and gentlemen. I know there's a lot more to talk about. We're gonna leave the discussion right here. But that has been our take on the Western movies. But next time we're gonna be talking about something else, something that's given us fright in a different level, in a different way, that it has touched our souls in a different manner. But that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for hanging out with us. Again, if you guys have any pluggings, guys, i-plug nyo na ngayon. Meron ba kayong mga shows na dapat abangan, starting with Captain Mike?
It'll be the Mobile Legends tournament with Cognizant, with the Cog Olympics Esports Club and Tika's Fitness Club. That's gonna be happening Saturday until the end of November, followed by a special stream actually happening towards the half of the month. Stay tuned to G for more of those details.
Thank you. Noch, maybe you want to tell us about the next show for Pillow Talk?
Of course, guys. The next show for Pillow Talk, Mondays, 8:30. We have a very saucy guest, kaya abang-abangan yun. Alam ng dalawang to kung ano yung pinag-uusapan namin. Kaya, disclaimer lang, if you're not into the locker room, boy talk,
conversations,
then, you might want to cover your ears a bit.
But yeah, if there's one thing we can tell you about that show with Noch, is it's a lot better than a normal fucking conversation. Check them out. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is your host, BJG, with another episode of the G3 podcast. Joining me is Captain Mike and, of course, Noch. We will see you in the next episode. We'll get scare levels on a whole new level. We'll catch you soon. Bye-bye!